This video is a bit of a reaction to a CBC article that was posted a couple days ago, in which Margaret Atwood basically claimed that ideology is not the problem, or religion is not the problem, it is people that's the problem. In reaction, I would say, all due respect to Margaret Atwood, I would say that, well, you can't very well get rid of people. I mean, that's a pretty that's a pretty weird thing to say, and ultimately people are the purveyors of their ideologies. You can't really separate the two in that sense. I mean, an ideology really can't exist somewhere out there on its own, waiting to be found. It is invented by people, and people carry forth the mission of the ideology. So there's a bit of separation that needs to be made, and I think it's at some point it becomes a game of semantics. But you can't really get rid of people if people are the problem. You have to get rid of the ideology behind or what drives people. You have to change people's minds, basically, which is obviously a very difficult task because everyone has their own mind and everybody thinks differently about everything. So there's no set formula for how ideology is dismantled. And I imagine, just from seeing what's going on with Islamist terror and what happened, say, during the Inquisition or the Dark Ages, you really can't. They don't really offer good examples of how to dismantle an ideology without going through a lot of shit. Now, she also goes on to say that, as proof that people are the problem, she said that even atheist or state-sponsored atheism, or states in which there was state-sponsored atheism, were very oppressive. But from what I've read, and I'm going to read more about this because one of my dreams was to write a longer paper on basically what state atheism actually is, there were nationalist and statist goals when it comes to state atheism. They didn't sponsor atheism in the sense of not believing in God. They sponsored atheism in taking away power from religion. And they were kind of religions in their own right. You look at countries like North Korea, where it's very statist. It's kind of atheist, but not necessarily so, considering that the founder of Kim Il-sung is now considered godlike, or should be considered godlike, and so they'd like to disseminate that whole founding period and the founding father of North Korea, etc., etc. So it's something I want to read up more about. But with state atheism, they usually have different goals in mind as opposed to sponsoring no belief in God. They definitely want to create states and nations that are strictly controlled and harness people's loyalty, etc., etc., without having distractions from religion. But I wouldn't say that they're purely atheistic. Atheism is probably a method by which they try to come about their real goals. And like I said, some of these atheist states come off as religions in their own right. So that's essentially what I wanted to say in this video. I definitely need to read up more about it. But even on initial reading, it seems like they have different goals different goals than, say, purely atheism. Atheism it kind of comes off as a little bit of an excuse, but atheism itself is not geared toward any sort of nationalistic or statist outcomes. It's a fairly dispersed and diverse area you could be talking about. But yeah, that's about it. Anyway, bye.